Welcome into our mailbag edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. The Golden Gang has questions, and me and my guy, Loco Lopez, we got answers. So if you want to be a part of the next mailbag, we do these every single live show. Mondays at 3 p.m. Central Time, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Central Time. So I hope you guys tune into the content. And if you want the Saints to beat the Patriots and get the win streak to 2 in a row, like this video, hit the thumbs up icon and let's go get the Saints another win so we can celebrate a second consecutive victory Monday. First question coming in from our friend I Love Football. By the way, bro, you sent a fist bump in the message, so fist bump to you. Are you nervous about the Patriots? I feel like that's a great question actually to have right after the, encouraging to like the video. If you're nervous, don't be. Like the video. I'm just kidding. I actually am a little bit nervous. Like, for full transparency here, I thought going into this week, Patriots were one of those teams that was like, they're good, they're scrappy, they're going to have a lot of fight, they have some talent, but they're still young and they got a lot of development to still be had. However, you also saw them, I'm not going to say dominate the Bills, but they handled them pretty well. And they ended up winning the game. And I thought that Drake May looked really, really, really good. And I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to cause a lot of problems for the black and gold. So to answer your question, I am nervous about the Patriots. I do think that that's a team that should beat us, but I think it's a winnable game. It helps that you're at home. It helps that the dome field advantage is back. And if Kellen Moore and the Saints can put together another clean game, sure, why not? Lopez, what do you think on this one?
One of my biggest takeaways, especially early on in that game yesterday, the Patriots were giving the Bills chances. They were fumbling the balls.
Yep.
They couldn't hold on to the ball.
Yep.
If that carried over into next week, the Saints' defense we saw yesterday, very opportunistic. Five turnovers.
Consecutive turnovers.
5 turnovers. Wish the offense put up a little more points with 5 turnovers, but
well, and to piggyback off that, Lopez, I like the word you used. They were very opportunistic. I think that the Saints, if they can turn the opportunities that they're given, remember 5 turnovers, 5 touchdowns would have been awesome. You didn't get 5 touchdowns. I think you only got 1 touchdown off of a turnover. And no. I think the Rashid Shaheed touchdown, was that after?
That was in the second quarter. They got all
that was in the second quarter. You're right. No, you're totally right. The only touchdown we got off of a turnover was the Jordan Howden touchdown. No, you're totally correct. I don't know about it. You're the new host, by the way. But I think that this is one of those games for the Saints in week 6. You had the opportunities. Now you have to take advantage of those opportunities. You showed that you can create some explosive plays. Now it's time to create multiple explosive plays multiple times throughout the game. Not just here and there, but throughout the entire game. Like, you don't need every play to be explosive. You don't need every play to be a 30, 40-yard gain, but you should be looking to have more than a couple 20-yard gains in the offense. Just my opinions. Appreciate you asking, though. I love football. No love Matt. So we have I love football and no love Matt. Are y'all brothers by chance, or like cousins or something? With the way Rattler's been playing in the unknown and Shough, who should the Saints drop or draft if we get a top 3? He clarified, or a top 5 pick. Maybe I'm alone in this opinion. I don't think I am, but maybe I am alone on it. The New Orleans Saints have a top 5 pick. I'm not drafting a quarterback. I'll even go further to say this. If the New Orleans Saints have the ability to have a top 3 pick, I would rather trade out of the top 3 than take a quarterback. Nussmeier hasn't been impressive enough for me. He's injured, and we've already had this extensive history of drafting injured players, so why would we do it again? Not going to do it. Not going to make an exception just because he's at school at LSU. I'm not going to. Or because his dad's the OC. I'm not going to make an exception just because of that. There will be interest, but I'm not going to make an exception. Cade Klubnik hasn't been good. Arch Manning not nearly ready to come out yet. Fernando Mendoza has been pretty good, but I'm not using a top 3 pick on him. John Mateer's been good. Not using a top 3 pick on him. Taylon Green, not using a top 3 pick on him. Like, if it's me, I would rather go Caleb Downs, Reuben Bain Jr. Go get me an edge rusher. Go get me a safety. Go get me a weapon. That's what I want. I want a weapon. Whether it's offensive or defensive, I don't care if it's the best receiver in the game. I don't care if it's the best safety in the game. I don't care if it's the best edge rusher. I would rather use a top selection on a player that immediately will walk in and make an impact, because I do think you still have time to get an evaluation on Shough. They drafted him at 40th overall for a reason. Spencer Rattler, we don't know if he's a long-term solution. He's playing good football right now, but there's a big difference between being good and being great. And there's an even bigger difference between being good and being elite. And call me crazy, I would like an elite quarterback. Am I an asshole for saying that? No, but I would like an elite quarterback. So if it's me, top few selections, I'm going weapons, I'm going offensive receiver, not a running back, not a tight end. Like, that's maybe receiver's really the only one I'd go with. Defensively, I love the idea of Caleb Downs. Especially Caleb Downs and Jonas Sanker. That would be just lethal. Are you kidding me? That'd be so hard to scheme up against. But I also wouldn't mind going with an edge rusher or a really, really quality defensive lineman. I think that those are the two positions I would prefer to use a top pick on. This one from Pablo. What's going on, Pablo? Spend a lot of money on a very good wide receiver or bring back Michael Thomas or OBJ. In the year of 2025, we're talking about signing Michael Thomas and OBJ. 4 years ago, all in on this idea. Would love it. 5 years ago, think this would be awesome. Nah, I'm good. I do think that it would be nice to give another weapon to whichever quarterback, Rattler or Shough. Right now, Rattler, obviously. I think it would be really helpful in terms of also giving him better opportunities to develop and having more reliable weapons around him. My counter is, instead of spending money that you sort of have, don't really have, and there's also, for the record, not a lot of good wide receivers available. If you're going to go spend money on a wide receiver, Treylon Burks is the guy that I would go and get. He was a first-round pick out of Arkansas, has had an extremely underwhelming start to his career in Tennessee. It's not like the Titans have been an excellent situation for him, though. But he's a bigger-bodied guy, a physical player that I think could be a contributor to this offense. Burks was released from IR and can sign with anyone, according to Ian Rappaport. So if you were to sign a wide receiver, Treylon Burks is really the only one I'm interested in. Otherwise, I'm not interested in shelling out draft picks or more draft capital or even more money for a wide receiver. I don't think it makes a ton of sense. And the fact that no team has signed Michael Thomas in the past few years just, to me, says he ain't coming back to the NFL. Whether or not you agree with it, whether or not you hate that he's done, his career's over in the National Football League. But Pablo, I really do appreciate the question. Definitely a fun topic to discuss nonetheless. Krogan, should Tyler Shough start next week? No. The answer is no. I've said this in previous videos. I've said this on live shows before. If you're at a blackjack table and you're hot, you get up or do you keep playing? The smart people, maybe they get up so they can just walk away with their winnings. But most people stay. And if you have a hot hand, why would you take it away? Like, in my personal opinion, I actually feel like Week 5 was a must-win for Spencer Rattler. Had he lost this game, I think there's a conversation about it. But he got it done. And even had he lost this game, I don't think the Saints would have started him. I think, if anything, Spencer Rattler has at least bought himself time until the bye week. We have to see how these next few games go, and we have to see how this team is looking by then. But for right now, on Monday, October 6th at 4:30 p.m. Central Time, I firmly believe that Rattler bought himself more time as a starter for the New Orleans Saints. And whether that means it's just a few more weeks, whether that means it's to the end of the season, you still do need to figure out whether or not Tyler Shough is the guy. And so for New Orleans, I think putting him in right now would be a bad decision. I think it would hinder Spencer Rattler's development. And I think the best thing you can do right now is continue to give Rattler chances and to continue to give him opportunities to prove himself. And for what it's worth, I do think that Spencer Rattler should not get off the field anytime soon whatsoever. You know what I do think the Saints need to do, though? Is I think they need to clean up the crappy situation they got going on with Mickey Loomis, because that guy is a moron. And you know what? A lot of people said that this team was crappy for a long, long time. Made fun of us. Said that we stink. But it doesn't hurt nearly as much because I use a Tushy Bidet. And you, too, can get a Tushy Bidet if you head on over to HelloTushy.com and use promo code CHAT. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. 99% of people who wash with the Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. And look, it's never too soon to plan for super bowel season, so installing a Tushy bidet makes the bathroom visit so much more comfortable for you, your guests, and your pipes. Tushy bidet gives you 2-in-1 benefits, reducing irritation, preventing micro tears with soothing water instead of scratchy toilet paper or damaging wet wipes. It's also so easy to use. You stop, drop, plop, sit, cleanse, and dry using the built-in air dryer. That's right, cleaning yourself is now hands-free in the bathroom. Remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. So for a limited time, our listeners at Saints Now by Chat Sports get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at HelloTushy.com with promo code CHAT. The link is in the comments and description of this video. Click that link if you want to go get yourself a new gift. If you want to get yourself a new thing to make your throne even better, be the king of the bathroom, get a Hello Tushy right now. And I promise you won't regret it. I use mine every single day, and I will continue to use it every day. Anonymous. Did y'all see the Stavi video? He got so mad. He was like, Roger Goodell, this is anonymous, and we're going to put stuff on your computer if you don't make the Ravens good. It's like legitimately. Lopez and I watched that video probably 40 times. Whoever this is, shout out to you, dude. That is legitimately one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Do I think the Saints will win the division? No, I don't. I think this is the Bucs division, full transparency. And as much as it pains me to say that, and as annoying as it is to say they're probably winning it, what is it now, 5 times in a row? I mean, like, that's annoying. But they're much better than all the other teams in football. Baker Mayfield playing like a top 5, top 10 quarterback right now. I would put him in the MVP conversation today. And he doesn't have Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. He's playing great football. They have Emeka Egbuka. Their defense doing some crazy things. Of course, they gave a lot of points yesterday, but they found a way to win. So I think it's the Bucs division. The Panthers are not good. The Falcons are not good again. They think they are, but they're not. I will not give the Buccaneers a lot of credit. I hate them, but they're going to win it. Danola, what did you think of the offensive line performance? Well, no sacks is awesome. They did give up a lot of pressures. They did give up a lot of they did put Spencer Rattler under a lot of pressure. They didn't hold their blocks very well against the Giants. Torricelli Simpkins specifically, a player that a lot of people have been super duper high on. I'm going to give you guys his PFF grades here. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Pro Football Focus isn't the gospel. But when you earn a 0.0 pass blocking grade because you gave up 1 hit, 5 hurries, and 6 pressures, and you had a penalty, not great. That doesn't mean he can't be good. That doesn't mean I hate him. That doesn't mean I want to cut him. But all in all, the offensive line gave up 0 sacks. I think Spencer Rattler is heavily to credit for that, for getting the ball out and avoiding the pressure very well. I think that's been a big part of his development that's been under-discussed. So I think the offensive line was good. I don't think they were great, but they gave up 0 sacks. So it's a win in my book. Good progress for the O-line. How do you feel about our young defensive back group after yesterday and no to Arch? Agree. We need to chill on the march for Arch. I don't think he's anywhere near being ready for the National Football League. Young DB group yesterday, confidence is through the sky. I'm not going to lie to you and say that, I thought this was just one good game. This was a breakout game for the defensive backs as a whole. 5 turnovers in 5 consecutive drives is awesome. And the fact that New Orleans was able to see Kool-Aid McKinstry get his first 2 interceptions, Jonas Sanker get his 2nd week in a row with a turnover. You were able to see them be opportunistic, like Lopez said earlier. My thoughts and my opinions on this defensive back group are through the roof right now. Lopez, what do you think of this squad?
I think this performance came at a perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Giants don't have the greatest receivers out there, especially with Malik Neighbors out for the year. But you're going to have a challenge this week with Stephon Diggs. We saw that on Sunday Night Football. He had a hell of a game. Drake May is starting the ball out, too.
You got
So
Kayshawn Booty over there, too, who's
exactly,
going to be
like-
doing some good things for them as well.
So a guy like Kool-Aid McKinstry getting 2 picks yesterday against the Giants, getting that confidence going into this week where you're going to see better talent,
Yep.
you're going to see better receivers. Can't ask for much more.
And I don't want to say that Quincy Riley is the reason that this all happened. I don't think he is. Certainly interesting, though, when you see Quincy Riley and Kool-Aid McKinstry line up. They both have a good game.
Was it Quincy Riley being on the field or Isaac Yiadom being off?
Yes, I think is the answer to that question. I think the answer is yes. But Courtney, to answer yours, I'm feeling great. My defensive back confidence has gone through the roof at this point. Of course, the Justin Reed injury is something to monitor, but we'll have information. We'll have updates later. We're putting this video out on Wednesday, so later today, if you're watching this video on Wednesday. And I think that this is a squad that you're starting to see really take shape. And for what it's worth, Brandon Staley's defenses have been struggling and been a little bit underwhelming to start the season. It's starting to come together, in my opinion. What up, Kool-Aid? Oh, yeah! In your opinion, would you keep Trevor Penning this offseason? I'm going to take a cop-out answer here. I'm going to say it's still too early to tell. It took a while for him to get available, which was concerning. And there's a lot of good reports around him throughout the summer, so that gives me reason for optimism. But I think it's too early to consider paying him serious guard money right now. The Saints did not pick up his fifth-year option, though, so there is decisions to be made when it comes to Trevor Penning this offseason. And if you don't make a decision on Trevor Penning, then you're going to need to address the guard position. So in terms of what is the easiest decision or what's the easiest path for the Saints? Well, Trevor Penning stays on the field, plays good football, and earns an extension. I think that's the best thing for the Saints, and I think it's the best thing for Penning. Otherwise, you're going to need to use another draft pick on an offensive lineman, and I'm tired of drafting offensive linemen. It's just getting old. I want players whose jersey I will buy. Not knocking trench guys, but give me a fun receiver. Give me a fun edge rusher. You know, it just be like that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's video. Also, it's not like we've had amazing success drafting all the second-round picks and all the edge rushers and all the offensive linemen. Some have been good, some have been bad. Either way. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to the live show. Appreciate you guys for tuning into our mailbag. If you guys want to be a part of the next one, I highly encourage you to subscribe and turn on your notifications. We go live, like I said at the beginning of this video, Monday, Thursday, 3 p.m. Central Time, as well as on game days an hour before kickoff. So make sure your notifications are on. Be sure to subscribe. Join the family and the Golden Gang. Y'all stay golden. We'll have injury report content coming out later today. We will see you later.